there folks, it's Kikoskia here, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. And when last we left off, we found a couple of notes in the surrounding area, and one of them talks about Count Cavall. I imagine Count Cavall is going to be found in Cavall Keep, so let us go to Cavall Keep and say hello to them. Now, we want to go north to find them, because this is where Cavall Keep is. We also have a few things to sell. We've been going to and fro selling various things, getting our money back to a decent level. It's almost like the game literally has you overflowing with coin if you spend even a tiny amount of effort to accumulate it. Right, we'll sell this, we'll sell that. We'll also sell this crossbow, and we will sell this here. There we go. With that, we are done with all of that. We now want to go and have a look at all the other stuff. We've had a look at the fountain, shop and the inn. We haven't had a proper look in the inn yet. There are people we can talk to. Like you. The gambler shook his head. Once again, I've come to the end of my funds. Owyn's stomach grumbled. Waiting until another patron had finished placing his order for a roast hen and a tankard of ale, the senior beckoned the tavern keeper away from his other duties, hoping both for information and perhaps a bit to eat. Evening, gents. Just let me know if you need anything. The three of us are fine, but you sound as if you've had better days. Is something bothering you, friend? I don't suppose you'd be interested in becoming a scully, would you, lad? I can't honestly say it's on my list of ambitions at the moment, no. Having problems with the help? I wouldn't call it problems so much as disappointments. I don't know what to say to the lad. He's a good enough boy, kind, honest, hard-working, but all in all he doesn't have the faintest idea which end of the pan's the handle. I've tried for weeks to teach him how to cook so the wife and I could take some time off, but when it comes to cooking he's as dense as the thunder hell. I don't know what else to do. But enough about me. What can Peter do for you? Let's talk about stuff. Have you seen any nighthawks in the area? Ishop forfend! The Guild of Death? I wouldn't let them into my establishment. When one of my patrons comes into the inn, he comes in breathing, and I like them leaving in the same condition. Alive. Please tell me you aren't looking to hire one. Hire one? I might be. There's someone I've been having problems with. Not another word of it. Not another word of it. Whatever grievance you have with this man, I don't want to know. If you're looking for a contact, you'll not find one here. If you're looking for a criminal, try the pub in Prankstone. Prankstone, eh? Huh. So, barkeep, what sort of fare do you offer in Maduck's Head? Only the best in all the kingdom. What can Peter interest you in today? Bit of roast chicken with a hunk of cheese? Spitted roast with steamed potato eyes? Or what ho, the house special, a duck baked in lemons and stuffed with roast peel crumbs. How does that strike you? I don't suppose any of those come in servings for the road. Oh my goodness, no. We can prepare rations for you at the very reasonable cost of 14 gold per pack. Shall I have them made? No. As good as that sounds at the moment, I think I'm going to have to pass. I just realised I have a few other expenses to attend to first. I'll let you off the hook, but just so long as you remember the duck's head after for a drink and something to eat. There's also lodging. Do you have a spare room where we could lay down? I could use a nap. Need a bit of a rest, do you? I wish there was something to do for you, but the only room open in my duck's head is the scullery. We wouldn't mind sharing with someone. Truly, I would like to help you, but the rooms I do have to let are full up, and I don't think my scully would want to share. The rooms are only just large enough for him to squeeze into, and it's as tight a fit as it is. With 3 of you in there, we'd have to stack you like ricks of wood. I'm sorry. Well, it was worth a go. If you'll excuse us, we have a few other things we need to be about, and not much time to do them in. Oh well, I suppose I'll live without the company. Good day to you. And to you as well. Seems quite friendly. And we've had that dialogue before. There's a man back there. The man ordered dinner. After a half-hearted attempt to resume our previous conversation, the man asked to be left alone so he could finish his meal. And nothing there, right. Just people we can talk to here, okay. There's an enter and an enter here. The door was ajar. They entered the building and were greeted by a man behind a small counter. I am the chief lender here. My name is in Sonatus. Can I help you? He inquired. James brought out the accountant's roll they had discovered in Abbock's magic chest. Aha! And placed it on the counter. We were wondering what you might be able to tell us about the details of this note. It has your mark here at the bottom. Yes, I see, the man replied. Pushing his eyeglasses down onto the bridge of his nose, he began to examine it carefully, first looking at the top of his note, then glancing down at the bottom with a scowl, then back to the top like a small child following the actions of a bouncing ball. At last he spoke. I'm afraid that to make an exact match with our records, I would need a name and date. It would be impossible for me to sort out otherwise. I wonder why there's no name attached to it. Are you sure there is no other way to make a verification? James asked. Quite sure, Insonatus replied, though I can tell you that judging by the size of the deposit, it was definitely a man of high position, either a lord or a merchant with foreign contacts. James thanked the man as they let themselves out. Now the big building. James roused the occupants. The door cracked open with a small squeak, just enough space to allow a pale-eyed girl in a dust-caked shirt to peek out at them. She studied them with a doubtful look, hesitant to let the strangers in. Yes? What is it? Stepping around the senior, Owyn peered at the girl with a puzzled expression, then brightened. Miri? It's me. They may look a bit rough, but they're with me. Without a word, the servant girl stepped out of the way, allowing the three of them to follow her into the foyer of the manor. Excusing herself, she scurried off to fetch her master, who was located in the rear apartments. Following what sounded like a distant argument, a dark-haired man swept into the room, a look of annoyance set in his features. Shooting a glance of mild hostility first to Owyn, and then the Mordhell, he turned to the senior. Kindly tell me, sir, what it is I have done to make myself so attractive to the minuscule of the world. From the moment I first stepped from my bedchamber this morning, I have had servants swarming about me like nits and bothersome relations at my ankles. Will you kindly leave me in peace? We have very grave business to attend to, and I must speak to you. Whatever you must do, I am quite certain does not involve me. I don't care what the nature of your business is about, Signor. I have other concerns. Is that so? Have you concerns above and beyond the peace of Krondor? If so, I shall make most eager account of them before him when I return. Go on and spell them out so I may take them down. I'm sure Ruther will be fascinated. Ooh! The prince, you say? Please understand that there are things going on that I'm not entirely at liberty to discuss. Suffice to say that I have had something of a disagreement with the priests of the Temple of Kahuli in Kenting Rush over a private matter. So if you may excuse my outburst, I would be happy to be of service to the prince. What precisely can I do for you? Let's talk about some stuff. Not that I dislike your new house here, but what happened to the keep? The townhouse is temporary lodging, nephew. We have no intention of staying in Cavil like common folk. As for the keep, one night 3 years ago, an inept chambermaid left a lamp unattended by the tapestries which hung on the west wall. You remember them, don't you, Owyn? Centuries old, woven by the finest weavers in all the kingdom. In seconds they went up in flames, and they took the rest of the keep with it. I remember having heard something about a fire, but I hadn't known the keep had burnt to the ground. It's a miracle you all survived. Were you able to save anything? We saved ourselves, Owyn, the only things of true value that were within the castle. It is regrettable that the girl who was responsible for the blaze was killed, but Eugene and I escaped it hale and hearty. I ordered only the stones of the foundation left behind and the tunnel mouth sealed. We progressed forward with our lives. Why go to all that trouble? I really would prefer not to speak of this anymore. It brings me great grief, and I would prefer to discuss other matters. Tunnel mouth sealed. There is a moneylender that lives here in town. In Sonatus, yes, I know him well. Strange Quegian fellow. Then you have done business with him recently. Why should it concern you? I have paid my taxes to the king. We wish to borrow money, and we want to make certain that we deal with a reputable firm. I thought that if you had done any business with him, made any deposits, then perhaps you might know if he was an honest man. Suspicion in business is a healthy tactic. To answer you, I've had no need to borrow any funds of late, and in fact have made several substantial deposits recently. Some of my better-placed investments have provided me with comfortable profits. But Nath be praised. Insonatus will do you well. Telling us that he has been putting money in Cincinnatus's hands and is likely the person who is linked to the thing we found. You have a reputation for disliking Navon de Sando. Anything you would care to share with us? And what makes you believe I have animosity with Eugene's suitor? Your petition to Kahuli. You asked for Navon to be, how did you put it, driven mad until he is grey with age? Who did you pay to get that note? Do you have spies in the temple? Nothing so insidious as that, Count. It seems the petition collectors from the Temple of Kahuli have been slow to do their duties this year. We found your note and your tithe. If you tell us why you wish him driven mad, I'll let this little matter slip my mind. Otherwise, I think I can take the matter up with Dusando. Do what you will, Signor. He already knows my feelings for him. I simply wish him gone from my family and his meddling in our affairs. Day and night he is at Eugene, asking her questions about the keep and Cavil run. How extensive were the tunnels that run under the Great Hall? Have they ever been mapped in any great detail? How much money is in my coffers? What are my schedules? With whom do I meet? His questions are endless. I lost a wife in that infernal keep, and I wish that matter put to rest. I never wish to hear another question again about it. Can you understand that, Signor? He brings up memories and feelings I wish to leave buried. Or he's prying into stuff you don't want people to reveal. Weren't you a spotter for the Natalie's Rangers when you were younger? I seem to recall you telling stories when I used to visit at the keep. That was quite a long time ago indeed, before you or Eugene or even Neville had been born. I still have the eye too. I can tell you precisely how much a man is carrying by the way he walks, or how good a swordsman is by the way he pulls it free of the scabbard. Sounds like a useful skill. Any chance you could teach something about it? Don't be absurd. I spent 5 years training to be a spotter. You expect for me to teach it all to you in one afternoon? I suppose you're right. I'm already a decent spotter myself. I'll make you a wager, though. You teach us anything I don't know, and I'll pay you gold sovereigns. I'll take your wager, but I'm not one to waste my time. 200 sovereigns, or it's no deal. Will you take the wager? Not right now. I'm a bold gambler at times, so I don't believe I'm feeling quite that bold. Just as well, for it is a bet you would most likely have lost. You've been most helpful, Count Corvallis, but it's time we return to our business. Please give my regards to your daughter Eugene. I shall, Signor. Good travelling, and keep an eye on my nephew. Oh, I shall, believe me. Goodbye. Right, I'm going to pop to the shop, because if we're going to learn some assessment, I'm going to want everybody to have that selected. That's a lot of stuff we learned there. Now, let's get some assessment here. Assessment. Right. Let's pop back into here. Talk to you again. Nephew, Signor. Elven, sir. Is there any other way that I may help you? We'll do this again. And this time, 200 sovereigns. I'm ready when you are. Then let us go outside, where we will have more room. The Count extended his arms. Which hand do I fight with? The Count asked. James squinted, the distance making an accurate evaluation difficult. For several hours, the Count had unabashedly chastised him for his lack of ability at assessing the strength of his enemies. My guess is your right hand. Good, the Count said. Why? Your sword is slung on your left hip, James replied flatly. While it was the obvious answer, the Count was unimpressed with his practicality. Noting he was about to be regaled about ignoring subtle clues, he quickly added, and the callus on the pads of your right thumb and the base of your fingers. The Count nodded and dropped his hands to his sides. I've wasted enough time. You've lost the bet, boy. Let's get back inside. Okay. What did we get there? We've done everything here. So let's leave. We gained some assessment. How much assessment did we gain? You're at 84, you're at 51, and you're at 91? Oh! That is some high assessment. Even for you, that's pretty impressive. Right, we learned a lot of stuff there. We learned a lot of stuff. I don't trust that man. I don't trust that man at all. There is something very suspicious going on there. So let's head up and see if we can find someone or anything. Okay, nothing here. It's a little loop area here. There's a building. James pushed open the door. No one's lived here for some time. Okay, let's keep going north then. And have a look around. Nothing here. Ooh, a store? Gorath stopped and stared off into the distance. After several seconds of contemplation, he turned and began to speak. Look at that tree over there. The lower limbs have all been hacked off. That either means we're near someone's property line, or someone was ensuring they had an unobstructed view of the area. If we continue in this direction, we should proceed with great caution. Yay! Scouting improvements! I like that. So you're at 69%, and you're at 39%. Gorath is pretty keen with spotting visual clues. This tells us we're in some trouble. Nope, this tells us we're gaining stealth. And now I've triggered the encounter because I wanted to. Right! We have some of you and a Black Slayer. You know what? I'm curious, where's that spell? Bane of the Black Slayer. I'm gonna use Bane of the Black Slayer on you, like so. Aha! That's 50 damage right there. Okay, dealt with you. And I want to use a... I could use Bane of the Black Slayer again, but let's not. Let us instead get a Skin of the Dragon. Get it on you. Now you're moving up. That is unfortunate. Go and defend! Like so. Okay, you're gonna miss. Oh, okay. Defend. You're down. Right, you're moving. Right. Let's see if we can finish this quickly. Actually, no, let's just use Final Rest on you. Because if I don't use Final Rest on you, I know what's gonna happen. I know what's gonna happen. Final Rest. You're gone. Okay. That's fine. Let's, miss you. Okay. Miss you. Oh, you're going to escape, aren't you? You're going to escape. I'd rather you didn't. Especially considering you are loot and I've already lost one person's loot. There we go. Come back, please. Right. I want you to hack at this person. There we go. You're down. Deal with that person quickly. Heal up. Attack. Right, you're running away now. And with that, we have won. And we get bodies to loot. One less body because we used Final Rest on someone. But hey, that Bane of the Black Slayers was really good. Very specific, though. 75% melee accuracy, 73% defense, 91% casting skill. That's marvelous. Right, what do you have? Some half-decent stuff. A little bit of armor, a little bit of weaponry. That is just a normal quarrel. I was just double-checking. Right. Let's get a bit of weapon craft here and fix things up, starting with that. Weapon craft at 65, marvellous. Armor craft now. Ding, ding, ding. Brings you up to... Okay, that didn't really improve anything. But, okay, you can't carry anything. You can't carry that. Okay. But if I were to pass this over to you, then you can carry that. Okay. You can then carry that. And you can carry that. That's one body. And here's another body that we can quickly... Okay, you've got armor craft selected already, that we can quickly repair stuff on. And we'll also have you fix that up. That's another percentage of armor craft. And there we go. What's these like? 6 and that. Okay, there's a third body. Ooh, you're the one with the good stuff. You're the one with the rations, which is good news. I'll take these rations. Unfortunately, we don't have much room for the rest of everything, so I'm gonna pop back over to Cavall Keep quickly, very quickly, a girl crossed the fields. Lacking the arrogant bearing of her father, she moved like a wisp of smoke, her tread so light it seemed she floated rather than walked through the rustling weeds. Flitting to Owyn's side, she kissed him lightly on the cheek. "Did I ever tell you that you show up at the strangest of times? It's nice to see you." "What are you doing wandering around unescorted? Honestly, you astonish me. By your age, most girls have the common sense to realize there are dangerous types wandering around in the open. How's that for an introduction? You're only 4 years older than me, Owyn, and I don't see that my age has anything to do with it. I just like to come out here to think when I have a problem that won't solve itself otherwise. It also gives me a safe harbour away from father when he's on one of his raging fits." "Is he on one at the moment?" "One of the worst that I've ever seen. He's fired the entire kitchen staff, dismissed the guard, thrown out 5 of my maids. He's been that way since about dinner last evening. I tried to ask him what had made him so upset, but he would only tell me that he had received some very bad news from a messenger regarding a financial arrangement which he'd made." "Any idea what the note said?" "Who knows? He's always on about conspiracy this, conspiracy that. It's like he's always afraid someone's about to find out some dire secret about the family when there's nothing to hide. It's getting terribly repetitive, really. So, you have this frightful look on your face as if there's something you're afraid to speak to me about. What is it?" "Let's talk about news. So when's a suitor going to snatch you up? Are there any that are even in good standing?" "There are 2, neither of whom father likes, but then again, he never likes anyone I do. One is Myron, my father's solicitor, who lives just outside of Cavall Keep with his daughter Amy. He does have a minor claim to nobility because his brother is an earl someplace, but father thinks his connections are too tenuous for us to consider." "And what about the second suitor?" "He's a businessman from Kenting Rush named Navon Dusando. I like him, though he can be a bit intense at times. We like to talk, and he always asks me some point about mythology or another. He doesn't mind a girl who reads." "That's good." "Your father says he doesn't like your suitor Navon because he keeps bringing up painful memories about the keep when he asks about the family legends, the death of your mother, the fire that burned the keep down. It isn't fair to hold that against Navon. He's interested in our family, in me, and so naturally he has questions about the keep. Wouldn't you be interested in the history of someone you wish to marry? Wouldn't you want to know them as well as you know your own family? It's not so much the death of my mother that bothers father, though, as does Neville's death all those years ago. But father insists on clinging to a silly coincidence." "Coincidence? What's a coincidence?" "Navon's last name is Dusando. It's the same last name as the man who constructed father's wine cellar, the one that collapsed. Father's holding it against him that he happens to have the same last name. It's so ridiculous." "Your father said Navon kept at you about the family legends. He was fascinated by anything that had to do with the Corvallis family. He would ask where the spyglass had come from, and how long the keep had been standing, and where the Guardia Revanche went to. We talked about everything. Spyglass?" "Sword? What does the Guardia Revanche have to do with our family history? I thought it was some kind of legend about the days when only the elves lived here." "The part of a legend that everybody knows has to do with the elves, but for a time the Guardia Revanche was in our family's possession, or so family legend has it. Upon her 14th birthday, the Lady of Cavall Keep was given a special present by her elven servant to give her husband, Lord Corvallis, a sword that would make him great among men, whereupon she ran to his bedchamber to present him with the great gift, but upon opening the door she was shaken by a great evil. Within her hand the sword blade began to glow, and she screamed as she raised the blade over her head and cleaved her husband's head off his shoulders. From there she went from one child's chamber to the next, until she had slain all her children by Lord Corvallis, and once she was done, she ran mad and was seen in Cavil no more." "How charming. You don't have it laying about somewhere, do you? Be nice to me, or I may give the sword to you." "No, the legend goes on to say that it was eventually removed from the family after the episode was repeated by later generations of other branches of the family. A book I have about it tells where it went, but I lent the book to Navon so he could look it over. Mental note, go check that out." "That's weird. I thought that the Guardia Revanche was only supposed to work on Mortel. It's a legend. No one ever said that a legend has to be consistent." "True. I don't remember much about how Neville died. It was such a long time ago." "You couldn't have known much about it so far off from Tyburn. Mother and father were both in such grief they didn't want a spectacle made of his death. Neville was down on Cavil Run, sent down by father to get a keg of Kegian sour from the wine cellar. We had guests that day. Cavil Run? You remember, underneath the keep? All those tunnels that seemed to stretch for miles? We never did know for sure how extensive it was. I used to love to take walks down there in the dark, just to think and have some time to myself. It's one of the things I miss about the keep, not having the tunnels to play in anymore. When Neville didn't come back from getting the keg, father went down into the run after him. The wine was served, then the appetizers, then the first course. Still father hadn't come back. The second course was served, the third, and then finally father appeared. He told us the tunnel had collapsed and Neville was trapped behind it all. We were never able to dig it out enough to recover the body. You'll forgive us if we look a bit ragged, but we're trying to find out about a murder that took place down in Romney. We've been searching for a little while. Do you think the murderer escaped to Cavall Keep? We're not sure. All we know at the moment is that it may have had something to do with a brass spyglass or a silver spider we found near the bodies. I don't suppose the spyglass had a star inscribed on it, did it? I can't recall. Why? Would that be important? For someone who's a part of the family, you certainly don't seem to know much about the family lore. We used to have a spyglass that sat in a glass case in the entryway of the keep. There was a legend that if a person knew the right things to say, then they could use the spyglass to spy on the minds of others. It was in the family for generations, but it disappeared about the time that Neville was killed in the wine cellar all those years ago. Father accused the workmen of having stolen it. And what things was the person to think to make the spyglass work? I don't know. Neville used to tease me and told me he knew what to think and that he could use it, but he never did. It was only a legend after all. Interesting. As nice as it's been talking to you again, we have to be on our way. Promise me you'll find someone to look after you soon. I would appreciate it if you stopped fretting about me as if I were a child, but I'll take the promise only so long as you make the same promise. Very well. You have my word as the son of the Count of Tavern. Goodbye, Eugene. Interesting. Well, we have learned a couple of things there. And I will quickly go and sell a few items, because our inventory is full. We might as well. Sell that, sell that, sell a sword, sell some armor, sell a crossbow. The inventory's pretty empty, but we can make it a little more empty. All we need to do is pop over here, rest for a little bit. Took a little bit of damage in that fight, but that's fine. Grab what remains of the bodies. I suppose I'll take the crossbow bolts. They're not going to be worth that much. Nothing on you. And a couple of small random things on you. You know what, I might as well actually just grab that, just in case I can sell it at the store right there. We're going to hop back over to... Oh, there she is again! Back again so soon? I shall have to find out what young lady has caught your eye in Cavall Keep. Actually, we are back to ask you a few questions. Do you have time for us? I suppose I could fit you in after the Lancers tourney and then the ball, because you know how busy Cavall Keep always is. You are absolutely incorrigible. Anyone ever tell you that? Perhaps. Now, what is it you three want? Some bit of gossip about my new, now former handmaidens? A story about old Pete the Grey? Nope, actually, we're... Oh, there was some dialogue there I completely missed, but we don't want to stay. We just want to sell some things. Sell this. I didn't fix that, did I? Hang on, I didn't fix that. We could fix that. All this. What am I doing? Almost foregoing skill advancements. Don't mind me, just fixing up the sword while I'm in your shop. And the armor too. Just imagine him just, like, watching us as we do this. Ding ding ding! There we go. A little bit more coin. Just a little. You won't take the, this, will you? Nope, you will not. Well, I shall keep that in mind as we head back to the north and go back to these bodies. And so, when we come back, folks, we will continue north and see what that store is all about, if that actually is a store. It might not be, for all I know. It could be full of doom now. Maybe. And so, I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later.